Hello and welcome in on Easter Sunday for our collective week ahead card pulls. Now, I am coming in here kind of late in the evening. We had a full day here with family, celebrating the energies of Easter for the spirit of renewal, for rebirth, and for faith and hope, and all of the beauty of the symbolism of the energy of this day and this season, really, as Passover and now Easter have come to pass, and we continue forward into April. And so I thought I would pull a card from the Christ Consciousness Oracle deck, and this is a beautiful deck from Amanda Ellis with the artwork by Jane Delaford Taylor. And of course, I brought in Amanda's Christ Light Master Jesus energy spray to infuse in. And again, as we gather here, this is in the context of Christ consciousness and embodying that and how. And I think actually now that I look at this card that just came forward, I just asked for a card to kind of initiate our conversation tonight. We received card 39, Spiritual Protection, Armour of God. And when we use the language that's in this oracle, or as I'm sharing it, we tend to lean into the words, the language that is familiar to us. So this is always for you to bring in whatever helps you to connect with source, with all that is, creator, with coming into your power, empowered in your sovereignty and your free will, that being the ultimate gift of spirit that we have. And it really ties in quite beautifully with our theme here this month of April, the Fool frequency. So imagine we are this fool up here, right? Footloose, fancy free, stepping into this lifetime with an openness for adventure, curiosity, for wanting to experience as a soul coming into a physical vessel to carry us through this earth school to learn, grow, heal, and expand as a soul. And we drop in here, and this fool appears to have little more than the little knapsack, a daffodil in one hand, its faithful bunny by its side, of course, this being from the Spring Waite as a play on the Rider Waite, where we typically see the fool holding that white rose with the dog, the loyal companion, at their foot, and their little knapsack, traveling light, open, and free. Now, when we step onto this earth school, our experiences can vary wildly, right? From feeling open and free and just curious and, coming in. We've talked a lot about the inner child and really harnessing that joy-fueled energy and innocence of a child. And yet we are here in this 3D existence in this current time, right? Time and space and the energies that we are in right now, which are very, very complex, right? And so I think that the spiritual protection armor of God coming forward, and this is card 39, so it has the frequency of the number 12, which has been coming up quite a bit in my orbit. And of course, that's the 3 and the 9 adding up to 12, and the 1 and the 2 then further to 3. The number of creation, of co-creation, collaboration, right, with spirit and with Christ consciousness, with the Christ light coming in. And I feel like this is a message about arming ourselves for this leg of our fool's journey as a collective, as a humanity. What we are stepping into now is uncharted. Yes, everything repeats itself. Everything runs in cycles, right? And we have been in a very long, over 2,000 year long cycle of repeating and moving through frequencies of energy of a similar variety where the experiences aren't exactly the same, but they echo the frequency of, there's so much talk right now with the unbelievable astrology that's going on and how it aligns with different significant moments in our known history. So things that are happening in the sky that haven't happened since the French Revolution, the American Revolution, since World War II. You know, and we hear those things and you draw all of the parallels to those things, and you feel like there's a repeat happening, and you can look around in the world and you can see examples of the way in which energy sort of mimics or, you know, appears like an echo of things from the past, right? And that can evoke all kinds of, rightfully so, lower vibrational energies of fear, worry, anger, you know, you name it, right? All of it. And these energies must move, right? We are in the process of, we are midwifing the birth of new earth, okay? And so I really do feel that this powerful message is coming in as a part of readying ourselves, putting on that armor of God, spiritual protection, to walk forward into April and further into 2026 and beyond. And this is never coming from a fearful place, but rather a mindful place and a heartful place to have awareness and to empower ourselves. And so I want to share with you the message here of spiritual protection, and just kind of feel into that and see what's coming forward. So walking in Christ consciousness is to hold the most powerful light within you that steers, protects, and is a constant shield. It's not that you are invisible to darkness, but that it cannot penetrate or interfere with your energy field. This light you carry can never go out or be vanquished if we stay in our hearts and walk in the energy and follow the example of Christ. The template laid down is clear. At no point did Jesus either fear or succumb to any power that tried to subvert or derail him, not when tempted or at his lowest ebb. He always stayed true to the light within. It is now your job to honor this light, nourish it, and allow it to shine at full velocity, fearing nothing and knowing all is well. There is nothing that is stronger than the energy of this light, and yet it is human to doubt at times, be overwhelmed by man's dark deeds and the evil and fear that are in our world. Yet we are not defenseless or naked and vulnerable to those who seek to deceive, manipulate, or do us harm. We are given assurance that we will be looked after as a good father looks after his children. This does not mean that no difficulty can befall us. It simply means that God will always have our back. Sometimes bad things happen, but knowing that nothing can defeat you, that you are stronger than any attack or injustice, is vital to remember. If we look at the story of Jesus and his disciples, they suffered persecution, yet their inner courage and steadfastness is a key feature to all their journeys, where they maintained their light to the very end, since even death cannot destroy that. As well as walking in light, you are also given the armor of God, 6 pieces of energetic holy equipment with deep symbolism that can be put on daily to aid you and protect. The 6 pieces are, and I'm just going to show you a close-up of this card as I share them, the helmet of salvation, or awakening, right? Again, the language. And I know that some of this language can be triggering. It's triggering for me. We all have our different stories and experiences, and I'm leaning into the ideal and the energy of, again, from coming at it from a spiritual perspective. The breastplate of righteousness, the belt of truth, the shield of faith, the sword of the Spirit, and sandals for feet that walk in peace. So we see each of those 6 pieces of the armor of God, of Spirit, here. And it does go on to suggest that you can, in the morning, ask for Jesus or your higher self to place these upon you, feeling the reassurance that comes via putting on each piece. With your armor on, you can get on with your daily day mindful of what you give attention and energy to, understanding that we can attract what is in our thoughts. It is therefore unhealthful to fret or invest too much time toward external dark energies, since you give them power by believing them so. Staying around positive, good people, energies, and situations is also a way of protecting ourselves. Think about all the things you surround yourself with and ask, are they healthful, life-affirming, and helpful, or are they draining, toxic, and negative? And I would add to that, feeling the answer to that in your body. And it will be very instant and subtle sometimes. Other times it will be overt and obvious. We get that pit or that drop in our stomach, or just that feeling of something answering that question within us. Staying pure in heart, seeing the divine in others, practicing the tenets of Christ consciousness, all raise our vibration, the most effective protection there is, and one that will never fail you. So this is about taking ownership of our environment, who's with us, what are we doing, and being accountable to what we're allowing into our space, right? Our Fool, carrying with them perhaps just their armor of God, the armor of spirit, the armor of source, the feeling of knowing that I can step into whatever experience my soul desires, protected and sort of backed up by my spiritual protection, right? So I don't know, I'm just kind of going with this off the cuff, but I was just feeling like wanting to kind of mark this season and this energy. And I feel like that really is quite a beautiful message to bring us into this awareness of the importance of protecting ourselves, of our energy. I mean, again, this is something you can do visually to envision, just like people can do cord cutting or clearing, or, before you go to bed tonight, you can actually move your hands over from top to bottom, from your crown all the way down, imagining that you are almost like wiping off or washing off in the shower. Like I keep mentioning, I'll be sharing that soon, my April showers meditation for cleansing and clearing your energy. That's another great, easy morning, whenever you're in the shower, multitasking way to set some intention of cleansing, clearing, clarifying, and then imagining that fresh water coming over you as a shield, as a protection, and really, taking some mindful moments to say those things, to describe those parts of the armor of God, and imagining them to protect you as you move about the world. When you go on to social media, if you turn on the television, if you're tuning into things that are not serving you or nourishing you, but yet, needing to be aware as you walk about on your fool's journey, having that protection is what I'm feeling as a strong message coming in for us to start us off. And now I'm going to shuffle up. And as I say, I'm going to see, I don't want to make this too long tonight, just from the full day that it has been. So I hope everyone is well, and sending everyone love wherever they are. And of course, for all those who celebrate, happy Easter, happy Passover this week. And just stepping into a new week here where we just have a few aspects to talk about, a little bit of astrological weather I'll share, along with these 5 cards that are going to come up here from the Spring Waite. And then we'll do a little bonus message at the end from Benny the Bunny. So let us see. Just came through that full moon in Libra. Wow, wow, wow. Pink moon. I have some unbelievable things to share, which I will be sharing over on my Spirit Signs Sharecast about my beloved soul sister Barb, who passed last April. We are approaching the anniversary of her passing, April 12th, next Sunday. And some really remarkable things took place this week around her and her family, as well as some really unbelievable signs. So I am going to be sharing over there in that Sharecast. It's been a minute. I've been moving through my own grieving process this year, and so I have different points of, energy and inspiration to share all of the signs and to put things together. And then other times have just taken the time. So I do have quite a bit in my archives that I would love to share, but especially the things that have just unfolded this last week and are still unfolding. So yeah, I will actually put the link to that Sharecast here in case you're not already over there. And you do want to check it out. There's almost a year's worth of quick videos that I've put, many of which are archived there. If you scroll through Marco Polo, you can just play around in there to whatever piques your interest. But these are all just short, quick little videos I started making for myself and her loved ones as like a video diary. I mean, there was so much coming in when she first passed and I was just blown away. And so I needed a place to just kind of put it. And so that's what it is. But the intention is to connect with all who want to know more and really feel into the signs that our loved ones in spirit are always sending us, and really kind of decoding the beautiful, subtle language and sometimes not so subtle language of spirit. So yeah, check that out if you're interested. Like I said, I will be adding some more there very soon. So with that, let's see what's coming up Monday through Friday this week. These cards are going to just be placeholders for the energies. We'll weave together a little story here for our week, starting with Monday. Setting us off, there's the Devil. We saw this card last week in someone's card pull and had quite the story with it. Namely, the creator had wanted to make a wasp here because, of course, wasps, the devil energy, but wasps don't make honey. And he loved the idea of getting caught up in that sticky sweetness, the temptation, right? The comfort zone and all the things that the devil brings. So we will talk about that. Yeah, that's a powerful one. Message that comes in with the devil energy. So with that, starting it off on Monday, setting a tone, Tuesday represents a potential block or challenge, which if you did happen to have a basket or two filled at your house overnight, you might be coming up against that challenge of a lot of chocolate and sweets in your world that you may not want that type of temptation around. I know that's true for me. Let's see Tuesday's energy coming in with a potential block or challenge for us this week. Ooh, the High Priestess. What are you asking me for? You already know. Trusting your intuition, trusting your wise self, your inner knowing, that whisper on your shoulder. Yeah, I'm feeling that because I often feel the devil is the devil and the angel on your shoulder whispering, right? And pulling at you. And so it's a challenge for us to, again, feeling the need of that armor, the spiritual protection from the devil. Again, these are words in our language, right? That we associate meaning and understanding, and again, varies for everyone. But it's the symbolism of comfort zone, temptation, the easy button in terms of what we know, the devil we know versus what we don't know. And yet she says, you do know, right? You've always known. So there's a powerful message coming between two major significant energies there. So now Wednesday is our midweek blessing. Beyond the devil, the High Priestess, our midweek blessing comes in on Wednesday. Yeah, moving on. 6 of Swords, moving on through choppy, turbulent waters. It's been rough, but there's a rainbow on the horizon. So there's an energy of moving on, moving forward, and to lighter and brighter days ahead. But right here and now, there are waves. So it's not all smooth sailing, and yet, spoiler alert, in the distance. Okay, so that's the 6 of Swords coming in. Thursday is How Are We Growing? Thursday is going to represent how are we growing this week, this season, growing through what we're going through, right? Ooh, Queen of Wands. Yeah, love that. The rainbow just continues right through here because she is, I like to call her the witch of the tarot. She brings all the sparks, all the fire, all of the intuition. She's got her familiar here in her black cat. and sunflowers. She is Leo fire energy here, we see. And I feel like gathering all of this is like these experiences, all of this, and including all of the things comprised, especially the devil experience. These things are all the stuff that makes the magic, right? It's gathering information and understanding, having experiences, which again is what we came here to do on our Fool's Journey, to learn, grow, heal, and expand, and take all of that and make our own unique magic from it. So that's how we're growing, in seeing how nothing is ever wasted. Everything has meaning. Everything has value. And so even if it's sticky, even if it stings, right, you can make something of magic and value from that. So I feel that coming in with our Queen of Wands. And then Friday is going to wrap it up for us for the week. Friday, wrapping it up. Punctuation mark on the tarot messages coming in for Friday. We start with the 3 frequency and we end with the 3 frequency. The Empress. She is the Earth Mother. She is pregnant with possibility. She is birthing the new. But first, right, as I say, as midwives, as we are moving through the contractions, right, and we are expanding and contracting in order to birth something new, the 3 brings through the energies of creation and co-creation and collaboration. And 3 is the number of Master Teacher Christ Consciousness energy. So 3 major arcana cards in this week, and 3. So definitely feeling that. Now we are going to pull one more card, which is going to come from the adorable Benny. And look, I mean, I'm just saying, I'm here for the pattern recognition. What happens to be there? Bend and be. Yogi Benny there. But look, the 39, once again, with the 12, with the 3, with these energies coming up, Spirit speaking to us through the signs, the symbols, the numbers, the colors, all of it. And when you attune to that subtle and sometimes not so subtle language, as we were talking about in the beginning of Spirit, it's amazing what comes forward. So let's see what Benny wants to bring through. This is an inner child oracle from Teresa Salerno. Always enjoy the artwork here from Christine Karen and the messages that come through with the adorable Benny the bunny. So let us see. Benny Blue. Loving guidance and renewal with Benny Blue. Yeah. Okay. I look after myself, body, mind, and soul. Well, we would be remiss if we didn't mention that there's another pattern that we're seeing here with the cats coming in with our Queen of Wands and her familiar, and now a lot of other feline friends with Benny. Self-care. 38, not 39 this time. Self-care. Metatron. That's an 11 energy, 38. So yes, feeling that from the Grand Orchestrator, bringing in this message. So we will feel into Benny's message of self-care as well as we make our way through. This, of course, on my social media spaces will be seamless, but if I don't make it all the way through these messages tonight, I will come in on Monday, top of the week, to share the intuitive messages that will be posted, of course, on our Empowerment Sharecast here in Marco Polo, and then on YouTube as well. So thank you all so much for being here. If you would like a personal card pull this week, please feel free to reach out and let me know. I will be doing those on the other side of some of my comprehensive work with the Empowerment Pack this week, but I will get you if you would like a personal card pull. So let me know. Let's roll in now to take a look at some of that astrological weather. All right, let's kick off some astrological weather for this week. Just a few things really to mention, because as active as April is, this beginning stretch through the 12th really is the quietest and, time that we want to align ourselves with to really be gearing up for all of the energy that comes in behind it for the remainder of the month. So just this week, touching on a few things, we have April 8th, Mars sextile Uranus. And so this is about how everything that has been opening, stirring, and becoming really honest and truthful and clear, coming to light over the past week, is finding its most electric expression here as Mars sextile Uranus turns everything that's building in you into decisive and unstoppable forward movement. So this is where that boldness surfaces with such clarity and certainty that every moment of hesitation simply falls away. And it's being replaced by a confidence that's so aligned with your actual truth that acting from it feels like the most natural thing you have done in a very long time. So this is all of that fiery Aries energy that we're moving in right now, like really readying those engines, but with such clarity and just a knowing. Because the universe has already arranged the outcome, and your willingness to move this day is the final piece that brings the whole extraordinary picture into full expression. So this is outlining Wednesday the 8th. So that midweek point where we talk about the Six of Swords this week that came up for us. This is that point where you really want to harness that energy with that clarity to move forward. Perfect card for it as well with the Six of Swords coming up. The next day, the 9th, Mars enters Aries. This is what we're talking about. So Mars sextile Uranus on the 8th, 9th, officially moving into Aries. And this is where what began as a single bold move of yours on the 8th now becomes this entire season of courageous forward movement when Mars enters Aries, and it awakens the most powerful and unstoppable version of you. So this is perfect because then we have the Queen of Wands, which is the fire, the Leo, the confidence, the courage, the boldness, the fire, the creative impulse. So whatever creative vision that you have been treating as a someday dream, right? Somewhere out there, someday, when my ship comes in, right? Financial move that you've been talking yourself out of, or a healing journey that you've been postponing. Mars in Aries makes something deeply and permanently clear about all of it. So this readiness that you've been searching for outside of yourself has been inside you all along. And everything you do from this point forward carries the energy of someone who finally knows it. Powerful. Now, I'm also going to talk about Saturday the 11th over the weekend, where we have the moon conjunct Pluto. So with the fire of Mars and Aries still burning through everything that has awakened in you, the moon now meets Pluto and brings everything you've been carrying fully to the surface, where it can finally be seen with the clarity it has always deserved. Something that you've known on a soul level about a situation, relationship, or belief that has been keeping you from the life you actually want becomes undeniably clear today. Your intuition reaches a depth that goes beyond ordinary knowing, and the healing that begins from this clarity is real, lasting, and far more life-changing than you are yet able to fully see. Wow, some really powerful energy stirring. So it's kind of small but mighty, right? The list is small, but the energies are profound. So I hope that you are resonating with some of these aspects and can really tap into this, because it is a very powerful time to harness these energies and to step into, like I say, the remainder of April and beyond poised with that courage, boldness, and clarity. Again, if you're feeling like something specific coming up for you in a certain area of life or certain circumstances and you would like a personal card pull, please let me know and we'll take a look at that with the backdrop of these other cards that we're going to chat about now. So let's take a look at our Monday card coming right up. All right, let's start here with the Devil energy coming in as the honeybee. Which again, like I say, is addressed here in the Spring Waite guide around the thought process behind the creation of this super fun and sparkly deck. So taking a look here at the Devil, very much a nod to the traditional, where we do see the masculine and feminine energies here naked, right? In that sense of vulnerability, authenticity, but caught up a little bit, right? Traditionally, they have chains around them. Here, they're kind of stuck up in the sticky honey, right? With this honeybee that is the Devil. So the message is saying that when creating this card, as I mentioned in the card polls, they had wanted to have it be a wasp. But this is a huge honeybee watching over the two figures. Because, wasps, I don't know, my kids have asked me before, like certain insects, what is their purpose? What do they do? And there's certain ones that are mostly pests, right? I mean, I don't know the scientific rationale behind the wasp per se. But in this case, of course, the very, very valuable honeybee. But I digress. So, since wasps don't make honey, they changed it to the bee, just so the figures could be stuck, appearing to be imprisoned in the honey. Now, traditionally, like I say, male and female are chained to the Devil with physical chains. This one, the bee, is surrounded by daffodils, both yellow and white, and the Devil here is representing addiction, excess, and bondage. So I know I took a lot of time in the card polls, so I don't want to make this too long for each of these cards this week, but these are some significant energies about getting caught up in the stickiness, but it is sweet and it is tempting and it attracts, right? So there is, again, this call for spiritual protection and putting on that armor in the light of temptation, in the sense of that which keeps us playing small, keeps us in prisons of our own making, feeling like we are not good enough, don't have enough. There's a lack-based mentality. There's comparisonitis. There's this sense of what others are doing and that we don't have something, or whatever it is that keeps us circulating. And we're talking about breaking out of that spiral, this cycle, that's been repeated and replicated over and over. And we're coming to the end of this now as a humanity, as a collective. So we're breaking out and we're going into uncharted territory, which is then what we see happening here this week. But it is very much anchored by the divine feminine with our high priestess and our empress that we see here, and the Queen of Wands. Beautiful energy. So let's continue that by taking a look at High Priestess for Tuesday's energy. All right, Tuesday, potential block or challenge this week is coming in, again, like prisons of our own making. We have the energy of our wise self, our higher self, our intuitive self, who knows, who sees. High Priestess energy coming in. So let's take a look and see what the Spring Waite has to say here. The High Priestess, a woman with butterfly wings, sits between two pillars that are covered in vines. Butterflies fly around her head, and she represents intuition and sacred knowledge. The scroll is rolled up, and so the knowledge is hidden from view. Sometimes in a reading, this can indicate that a lot has yet to still be revealed regarding a situation. So you see, it's showing here that the scroll is rolled up. So there are things contained in there that we can't see, that we have not yet seen with our physical eyes or come into our conscious awareness, but she represents our highest self, our unconscious, right? So there's this sense of what we know, we don't know we know, right? Coming up to the surface, being revealed. So this is where, again, all of this energy that's the weather that's rolling in, bringing immense clarity and truth to the surface and exposure and disclosure and all of these things that we're seeing in the wider world, on the world stage, and perhaps within our own microcosms, that as things come to light, the truth is revealed. We are stepping into our wise selves and seating ourselves in our rightful place. I mean, we've got 3 very powerful divine feminine energies here sitting at their throne, right? Being supported, rainbows, butterflies. All of this energy is really supporting the promise of hope and renewal that comes after the storm. Right? Comes after the sting. So really feeling that building here in the collective as we feel into these energies. Let's take a look now at Wednesday's card. All right, Wednesday, midweek, coming in here. This is where our energetic weather picked up at this point in the week from everything I was just chatting about. And we've got the 6 of Swords coming in, which is really perfect for finally perhaps rolling forward. You know, there's this energy of movement, forward movement, momentum that's building. Like I said, in the here and now, there is turbulence. It is choppy. These waters are tumultuous. But it's a bumpy ride, but we see what's on the horizon, a violet sky with a rainbow. So there's so much to look forward to move through this time in order to arrive in that space, right? So 6 of Swords is saying that we have a man sailing a boat across the water with a woman and child as passengers. Is she leaving a violent relationship, for example, an unwinnable situation that, like one that we might see in the 5 of Swords, the card that comes right before this, which is a, unwinnable situation. Victory, but at what cost? Is the juice worth the squeeze? 5 of Swords asks. No. 6 of Swords loads up on the boat and floats on out of there, right? So we're moving on from something fruitless, something that is not a good use of our energy. So perhaps she was sick and tired of, and he's giving us a very specific story here. Perhaps she was sick and tired of the constant arguing, like something we could see in the 3 of Swords, the heartbreak, the loss there. Regardless, whatever it is that we're transcending, we're moving beyond, this card usually indicates that someone is leaving a bad situation and heading towards a better future. On the horizon, we see a welcoming country home beside a tree. Perhaps she has plans to move to a new residence. This card can also mean travel by sea. So, it can literally just mean someone's traveling, things happening on the water, travel on the water. And, again, world stage energy, things happening on the water that are turbulent in the here and now, leading towards better days on the horizon. So once again, we connect this in with our guidance from the Christ Consciousness Oracle to make sure we are donning our spiritual protection, the armor of God, as we are moving about, right? And as we are walking, sailing, flying, however we're moving in the world, right? To step forward in that way, because there is an energy of hunkering down in order to move through something difficult and arrive at that promise on the other side. So let's take a look now at Thursday's energy for how we are growing through the flowing through of all of it. All right, Thursday, we have the Queen of Wands perfectly coming in. I mean, gosh, when we read that astrological weather and brought that through, that is really spot on with the fire, with Mars moving into Aries and this energy heating up. And of course, like I say, we have our feline friend coming in as well, which we finish off the week as well. So, Queen of Wands, surrounded by sunflowers, this queen enjoys a nice spring day. She holds a freshly picked sunflower in her hand and wears a sunflower themed crown. She can often be a social woman who enjoys hosting events and being part of community and social type groups. She likes to be involved and on the move. So yeah, you know, when we're talking about court cards like the Queen, these can represent people in your life, you or people in your orbit, personality, ways of being. So this could be very practically a person, maybe you, around you, that could be very social, very sunny, very, you know, very much like in the way that that was just describing. In the way that I felt her energy initially come in when I pulled the card was like, yeah, this is all of this bold, creative, courageous, you know, making our magic, which feels like, and she's got lion energy all around her. I know that the details don't always come up here. Yeah, I always remember with this deck, it really shows better when I zoom in to see all those beautiful stars. But we see the lion heads on either side of her throne and again up here. So there is quite this energy again of protection, of the lion energy, which is bringing us into solar plexus, right? That sense of I am, my power, courage, bravery, joy, the fire, the sun. So all of that coming through here, but also she's completely head to toe in green and magenta. So I'm feeling heart-centered, creative passion. And the magenta feels like, you know, really bridging this energy from again, where we're coming from and where we're going, which I am feeling here with this card. And oh yeah, look at that. She's also enrobed in some magenta energy as well. So do feel that coming through here with, you know, from where we're coming, where we may find ourselves, and then where we are growing to with the Queen of Wands coming in. So loving that as well as a symbol of the energies this week. Let's take a look at the final tarot card here for Friday. All right, Friday is bringing in card 3 of 3, Major Arcana. So like I said, the 3-3 coming forward with Master Teacher, Christ Consciousness, Energy, and the Empress, who is bringing in Earth Mother energy, Mama Gaia energy, you know, birthing new Earth. So this one, the Spring Waite says, a woman wearing a daffodil patterned robe sits on her throne out in nature. She represents Mother Nature. Yellow tulips grow in the foreground in front of her. A river flows into her garden, reminding us that there is always abundant elements coming into the scene to create life. The rainbow is another reminder that life-giving rains are nearby. She represents all forms of birth and growing things. So yeah, this is where I'm really feeling the birthing, the midwifing, you know, moving this energy which is not without its growing pains, right? It's birthing pains and the contractions, you know, to use that analogy for how she typically seen as an expectant woman, right? That she is pregnant with possibility, that she is birthing something. And that's what we see here coming through. And like I say, there's definitely a divine feminine energy that is anchoring in the cards this week as we see the High Priestess, we see the Queen of Wands, and here the Empress. So all of that coming in from the Armour of God, moving through the devil energy, getting caught up in the stickiness, and then transcending that as we trust and we connect in with our wise self who knows, right? And we, again, with that curious mind and openness of the Fool, we step into finding our full frequency this month, right? In order to find that space within us that is open and curious and just ready for experience, but protecting ourselves and being within our own sovereignty and our own empowerment, our free will, our greatest gift. So let's take a look now at our final message coming in from Benny Blue. All right, Benny comes in from the Inner Child Oracle with a message this week of self-care. Even the best and brightest of bunnies feel blue sometimes. No bunny can hop nonstop, not even Benny. When Benny needs a break, he visits Farmer Cotton's ranch and plays with the cats and kittens. After taking time out to relax and play, he feels energized and ready to go. Does each day feel like a brand new beginning or another dreary doldrum? Our willingness to engage with life is dictated by our energy reserves. When we lose enthusiasm for life, we can stop engaging with everything that makes life worth living. If you've been feeling run down, let down, or down in the dumps lately, this card heralds a time of restoration where finding personal fulfillment will become a priority. If you have been running yourself ragged in service of others, you are asked to take a step back and evaluate how you can bring more energy into your life to better fuel your body. Can you lessen your workload, limit how often you say yes to tasks that drain you, or implement a system to streamline your day? If people are draining you with endless requests and neediness, can you set better boundaries? Ask yourself how you would like to feel each day and embody that energy in your actions and decisions. If you have been feeling drained and resentful toward those in your life, do not feel guilty. When we have nothing left to give, it is difficult to be charitable in our opinions of others. We may be short on patience and act in ways that reflect poorly on our true selves. By setting aside time each day to refill your energy well, you can be the best version of yourself and give more to others. We cannot give what we do not have. Though you may feel obligated to remain available to those who depend on you, know that by setting clear boundaries, you stop them from becoming over-reliant on your aid and help them grow into greater self-sufficiency. Do something that inspires you and gives you energy every day. Dance, read a book, go for a walk in nature, watch a movie, practice yoga, go out with friends, spend quality time with family, get a massage. Whatever gives energy and promotes inner peace is right for you. There is no giving without receiving. It is time to reignite your spark for life and move forward with passion and enthusiasm for all that is. The affirmation we're given here is to be said 3 times or until you feel ready to receive. It says, I am open to receiving. Taking care of myself energizes my body, mind, and soul, and expands my capacity to care for others. Wow. Well, I heard a lot of confirmation in that message from things that we've been saying. Taking us back to the beginning where we started with the spiritual protection armor of God, because it was saying really to make sure that you're having good spiritual hygiene about all of the energies that you're picking up, all that sticky honey that's getting on you from everything that's out there, right? In the external that impacts us, affects us. You know, we are energetic beings and we are conduits to move energy through emotion, energy in motion. And so lower vibrational emotions like fear and worry and lack and all those things keep us spinning our wheels. So it would serve an external energy that wants to, say, control the narrative, to disempower you, to continually feed you experiences and visuals and stories that support more of that same energy moving around, right? And this is why we're hearing this guidance about every day treating it like a new beginning, right? And having a willingness to experience like our Fool. But in order to do that, we need to clear our field, right? The energy that's stuck on us. Think of it like that honey. I really love that visual coming in because it is like, you know, something that's disempowering getting onto us. And so when you think about, you know, how energy can impact you. If you've just sat in a traffic jam for 20 minutes or more, you've got all that dense, negative, bumper to bumper energy on you, right? And it's like you step out of your car and it may have set into motion a tone for your entire day. In the same way that a smooth, clear, sunny ride somewhere with your favorite music playing also sets the tone for your day from a completely high vibrational perspective. So it's really, a way of looking at this message that I'm feeling coming through between the armor of God and the devil energy and the Queen of Wands, because I did hear a nod there too, that like you're making that magic in your life by setting that intention from within. And so a mindful practice and weaving it in here with the self-care and guidance that we heard here around doing things that inspire you, giving you energy every day. Adding into that something like the spiritual protection, placing that armor, imagining yourself cutting cords, using the shower for cleansing and clearing. These are all, I think, pretty practical, down to earth, multitasking kind of ways, especially for the busy spiritualist, right? The busy person who's moving about the world and maybe doesn't always have an opportunity to be very, sedentary and reflective and have quiet and contemplation, right? So anyway, I think that's a really powerful card. And I think there's more to it with all those cats. I love them all being there because I don't know, it feels like if we were to take, you know how you'll see those things that say like, I learned everything I need to learn from my cat, from my dog, or lessons from, I like to do one, usually in June, I'll share the strawberry theme and we'll learn, all the messages, lessons in life from a strawberry. And it'll weave together all of these clever references to the strawberry, but in a really beautiful, life lesson learning kind of way. Likewise, I'm feeling, I know there's got to be something out there about a cat and lessons we learn from cats that have to do with self-care, self-awareness, and definitely operating from a sovereign place of empowerment, as any cat would as well. They give zero about what everyone else wants, right? They can be a little finicky. So anyway, all right, I've been yammering on here for a bit. I hope you found value in the messages tonight. I am really just talking off the cuff here and really through my heart. So I hope you feel that and that there is something in there for you. I trust that there is. I thank you so much for being here. If you would like to have a personal card pull this week, please feel free to reach out, as well as check my links, my captions for ways that we can work together more comprehensively if you would like to go even deeper. Thank you so much. Sending you much love and wishing you a beautiful week. Take good care.